This is Government Unfiltered. I'm Dan Williams. This podcast is a reading of the December 22nd, 2022 final report from the Select Committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol. Chapter 4. Just call it corrupt and leave the rest to me. 4.3. December 1, 2020. President Trump is irate after Barr says there is no significant fraud. Attorney General Barr had been clear that DOJ was investigating claims of fraud. The department simply was not turning up any real evidence of malfeasance, and certainly nothing that would overturn the election. Just as Barr feared, the president turned on DOJ anyway. On November 29, 2020, Fox News' Maria Bartiromo interviewed President Trump. It was his first TV interview since he lost his bid for re-election. The president claimed the election was rigged and rife with fraud. President Trump repeated various conspiracy theories, leading with the claim that Dominion's voting machines had glitches, which moved thousands of votes from my account to Biden's account. President Trump pointed to dumps of votes, a reference to the batches of mail-in ballots that had been tabulated later in the counting process. He rambled off various other spurious allegations, including that dead people voted in significant numbers. This is total fraud, the president said. And how the FBI and Department of Justice, I don't know, maybe they're involved, but how people are getting away with this stuff, it's unbelievable. This election was rigged. This election was a total fraud. Where is the DOJ and the FBI in all of this, Mr. President? Bartiromo asked. You have laid out some serious charges here. Shouldn't this be something that the FBI is investigating? Are they? Is the DOJ investigating? Bartiromo asked incredulously. Missing in action, the president replied. Can't tell you where they are. He conceded that when he asked if DOJ and FBI were investigating, everyone says yes, they're looking at it. But he didn't leave it there. You would think that if you're the FBI or Department of Justice, this is the biggest thing you could be looking at, President Trump said. Where are they? I've not seen anything. I mean, just keep moving along. They go on to the next president. He claimed the FBI was not even investigating Dominion, adding that votes processed in its machines are counted in foreign countries. None of this was true. Just 6 days earlier, Attorney General Barr had explained to President Trump how DOJ and FBI were investigating fraud claims. Barr also made it a point to emphasize that the Dominion claims were nonsense. The president simply lied. The crazy stuff, as Barr put it, was all Trump could cite. Attorney General Barr then decided to speak out. He invited Michael Balsamo, an Associated Press AP reporter, to lunch on December 1st. Barr told the journalist that, to date, we have not seen fraud on a scale that could have affected a different outcome in the election. That made the president irate. Later that evening, Attorney General Barr met with President Trump at the White House. It was their second face-to-face meeting after the November election. At first, President Trump didn't even look at Attorney General Barr. The president was as mad as I've ever seen him, and he was trying to control himself, Barr said. The president finally shoved a newspaper with the AP quote in Barr's face. Well, this is, killing me. You didn't have to say this. You must have said this because you hate Trump. You hate Trump, Barr remembered him saying. No, I don't hate you, Mr. President, Barr replied. You know, I came in at a low time in your administration. I've tried to help your administration. I certainly don't hate you. President Trump peppered him with unsupported conspiracy theories. Because he had authorized DOJ and FBI to investigate fraud claims, Attorney General Barr was familiar with the conspiracy theories raised by the president. The big ones he investigated included claims such as Dominion voting machines switched votes. Votes had been dumped at the end of the night in Milwaukee and Detroit. Non-residents voted in Nevada. The number of ballots counted in Pennsylvania exceeded the number of votes cast, as well as a story about a truck driver supposedly driving thousands of pre-filled ballots from New York to Pennsylvania, among others. Under Attorney General Barr, DOJ would also investigate a false claim that a video feed in Fulton County captured multiple runs of ballots for former Vice President Biden. As explained in detail in Chapter 1 of this report, there was no truth to any of these allegations. But that didn't stop President Trump from repeatedly citing these fictional accounts. And I told him that the stuff that his people were shoveling out to the public was bullshit. I mean that the claims of fraud were bullshit, Barr recalled about the December 1st meeting. And he was indignant about that. And I reiterated that they wasted a whole month of these claims on the Dominion voting machines, and they were idiotic claims. President Trump repeated that there had been a big vote dump in Detroit. But Attorney General Barr quickly parried this claim. There was nothing suspicious in how the votes flowed into a central location, Barr explained, because that is how votes are always counted in Wayne County. Moreover, Barr pointed out that the president performed better in Detroit in 2020 than he had in 2016. I mean, there's no indication of fraud in Detroit, Barr said. Barr explained that the thing about the truck driver is complete, nonsense. DOJ and FBI had investigated the matter, including by interviewing the relevant witnesses. There was no truck filled with ballots. Nothing that Attorney General Barr said during that meeting could satisfy President Trump. So the president shifted the focus to Barr. He complained that the Attorney General hadn't indicted former FBI Director James Comey, and that U.S. Attorney John Durham's investigation into the origins of the FBI's Crossfire Hurricane investigation hadn't made more progress. "Look, I know that you are dissatisfied with me," Barr said, "and I'm glad to offer my resignation." President Trump pounded the table in front of him with his fist and said, "Accepted." White House lawyers Pat Cipollone and Eric Hirschman tracked Barr down in the parking lot after he left. They convinced Barr to stay in the administration. But his days as Attorney General were numbered. President Trump was not going to stop spreading conspiracy theories, nor would the president cease in his effort to co-opt DOJ for his own corrupt political purposes. President Trump released a video on Facebook the very next day. He repeated many of the same lies, including the conspiracy theory about Dominion voting machines switching votes. The president also offered charts, falsely claiming that fraudulent vote dumps had swung the election against him. Among the examples he cited was the supposed vote dump in Detroit, Michigan. In fact, Barr had already debunked this and other claims. On December 3, 2020, Rudolph Giuliani appeared before the Georgia Senate Government Oversight Committee to allege that massive cheating had occurred during the election. Giuliani offered a video recorded on election night at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, as a key piece of evidence. Giuliani alleged that the video showed a secret suitcase of ballots being double and triple counted after Republican poll watchers had been inappropriately dismissed. The video was selectively edited and showed nothing of the sort. The Georgia Secretary of State's office investigated and immediately debunked the claim, finding that the secret suitcase was just a secure box and nothing nefarious had occurred. President Trump, Giuliani, and others continued to push the lie anyway. On December 4th, Attorney General Barr asked Byung-Jae (BJ) Pak, who was then the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Georgia, to independently investigate the State Farm claim. Barr told Pak that this was a priority because he was going to go to the White House for a meeting and the issue might come up. Barr asked Pak to try to substantiate the allegation made by Mr. Giuliani. Pak watched the video from State Farm Arena and asked the FBI to investigate the matter further. Pak told the Select Committee that FBI agents interviewed the individuals shown in the video who were supposedly double, triple counting the ballots, and determined that nothing irregular happened in the counting and the allegations made by Mr. Giuliani were false. And as noted above, the supposed suitcase was a secure storage container used to store ballots. With this evidence in hand, PAC told Attorney General Barr that there was no substance to the allegations. Episodes of Government Unfiltered are produced without any additional commentary and created based on the value-for-value model. Instead of charging $15 to $40 like other media outlets, you get to decide what it's worth to provide an open and available reading of this document. Please support the podcast at governmentunfiltered.com by clicking on the support button for a one-time donation. You can also click on the contact button and ask for an address if you'd prefer to mail a check. Thank you to associate producer Jay Bernhard and all of the insiders who support at patreon.com/timberlanemedia. For those of you who would like to provide an anonymous donation, you can go to glow.fm/insider. Follow the show on Twitter @govunfiltered or on Facebook, facebook.com/governmentunfiltered. Thank you for listening.